Just got some running around to do. I figured I'd run some research vids through. Um, I got a lot of research done over the last few days, last 4 days actually, on the Metellus. Got some work done on the new model that I'm building, and so over the next week or two I should have some updates on those things. So I'm planning on getting behind the desk. I got to get behind the desk and make like 5 or 6 videos. I want to address the images in the moon that Patrick was pointing out. I want to address at least one of those for this week before I move on to the Metellus again. I am set up to finish up the Metellus part of this series over the next couple days, and then from here on out it'll just be here and there as I learn things. But I did learn a lot of shit about that, and still learning. There's still more to figure out, of course, but I got pretty far on it all. So I'll go along with it as I go down, as we go forward. I'll just trying to decide what color I'm going to go with today too. I think I'm going to throw a third rubber band on here too, because I have a hard time staying on. So these are just research vids that I'm doing today. I may shoot the shit a little bit or something here and there about different things, but I got so much going on in my mind, it's hard to put it all forward. Oh, I did come up with a new name for the chemtrails. I made a poster for it, so that I can start training myself not to use the PSYOP wording anymore, and I'll keep doing that as I go along. And it took me a few days to do that one too. It took me years. It took me 12 fucking years to do that one, actually. Been chasing chemtrails for a long fucking time. So I've found a nice spelling that I like. I found a nice wording that I like, and I found my own personal reasonings behind how I'm gonna refer to these things from now on. I don't know, it may change or something down the line, I don't know, but I'm really happy with the Metellus. Changing the word, the terminology to Metellus has been a huge difference to me. It took me only a few days to get used to the reference, and the spelling is perfect, the lingo is perfect on it. I like it. It's a lot less scary. Just the wording makes everybody feel a little better. And so, I'm happy with that one. I'm going to leave that one alone. So, biometellus, electrometellus, and electromagnetic nanometellus. I'm still working on the EMNC. The EMNC, I've learned a lot more about the EMNC at the ground level by researching the Metellus. And, man, there's a lot. Just like I was saying to Patrick, listening to yourself talk on your videos, when you listen to yourself speaking, shit just keep coming and coming and coming, and it's pretty amazing learning from yourself like that. And as I was talking about working in the body shops and seeing the mist everywhere, I'm thinking about when my grandmother died. Her last doctor was about 5 years before she died. She started with a new doctor, and they insisted that she was a smoker all her life. My grandmother never smoked in a day in her life, but she did have fireplaces and shit like that, and wood burning stoves when she was a kid. That's how they heated the house, and she grew up that way. And she also had a lot of smokers around her. Back then, in the old days, everybody used to just smoke in a enclosed area. There was no thought process. Now we've gone so far the opposite way that it's ridiculous. But I was always bitching about that secondhand smoke story, about the secondhand smoke, and there may be a little something to that when I was talking about the Metellus killers. The Metellus killers that were in the cigarette tobacco, they're not even there anymore. Not for the Metellus that we're trying to get rid of. They've taken them all out of the cigarette tobaccos. They used to spray a lot more shit into those tobaccos when they were making them. Anyways, from the farm all the way to hanging them in the tobacco farms to getting them rolled up into the cigarettes, they had a lot of different additives that were added, and some of them were for our benefit, and we took them away like idiots that we are. Got away from them. Is that Sean? I think so. I think that's Sean. Anyways, so that's how I was putting a lot of things together, over the last few days. Just as I'm listening to my videos back and shit, I'm like, ding, bang, 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 boom, bang. Yep, it all makes sense. Yep, this is, and also finding them in other places. I've showed the evidence of them in a lot of different ways. Go ahead. I showed the evidence of them in a lot of different ways over the past year. For example, in my kids' paintings and stuff, and different places that were human influence. And I don't really like going for anything with human influence, but I was doing it anyway here and there just to show people that it is everywhere. When you go in on some things happened over the weekend too, where I got in some shit with different people, arguments, debates, and it's just a waste of time. I mean, these people still think that they're on a spinning wet pararocket ball. They think that the earth may be flat. They think that, depending on who you're talking to, but it's all bullshit, and I see it all now to be bullshit. So to have to argue the arguments of gravity, and people don't even want to listen to anything about electromagnetics. You start talking about electromagnetics, they just shut down as well. They want everything to be handled with it's a pressurized system. They're not thinking about the pressurized system, what holds it within, what holds the pressure then. If they're telling us that it's just outer space, we go from here to what's called outer space. And it's an electromagnetic, as I'm building the model, it's an electromagnetic bubble, if you will. It's an electromagnetic bubble. I'm actually going to be able to build it. I'm going to actually be able to build the real, true fucking model. And at least up to the point where I can get all the carbons turning, and all that kind of shit. Now, making that happen in layers is obviously going to be, I can't park here, is obviously going to be, different heavy metals are going to be pulled at different rates and all that kind of shit. So some of that stuff has still got to be worked out, but at least I got this next chunk of it, and I'm on to the next level of it as far as building the model goes. I can't park there right there. I'm gonna have to go for a little ride around the block. So anyways, so I'm making some leeway with the model. I'm pretty big. I'm pretty big compared to what I was a year ago, compared to what I was doing a year ago. Now, I would love to be able to use an ice dome in order to display what I'm going to be showing, but that's not going to work either. That's not going to work because the ice ends up melting all the time as you're trying to explain shit and things like that. And dry ice is out because I'll just end up burning my skin, and it's too much. So just to give myself an idea, I need a visual on it. So I'll give a brief demo on how far I've gotten with it when I get back. When I get back behind the computer on that. And so I've made some leeway on the model. I've made some new found evidences that you can see for yourselves, so that you'll be able to prove to yourselves about the EMNC, the electromagnetic nanocarbon that builds everything. Adding shit up more and more as I go. Things are coming together more and more as I go. I've gone as far as I think I'm going to be able to go with the Metellus for at the time. So that's going to probably take me, like I say, maybe 2 or 3 30-minute videos. I should be able to wrap up the Metellus for the beginning part of this series, and then let everybody just think about what I'm going to throw at them about the Metellus. And then the new name that I'm going to now start referring to chemtrails as, and I have not figured out chem clouds or anything like that, but it's going to be electromagnetic, how am I going to word this now? So it's going to be electromagnetic mineral streets. Mineral Streets. Now, it's not spelled the way you might think. It's spelled Minereal. That's it. Yep. Streets. Mineral Streets. Minereal Streets. One word, not two words, one word. Mineral Streets. And I'm going to pronounce it as two words, but it's really going to be one word. And if you just wrote that word down, you see that I've got the word lie spelled backwards in there after the R. So it's M-I-N is in Nancy, Ereal Streets. And I made up a poster for it. I got to get away from the propagandist bullshit stories. Even in my own lingo, cannot continue to keep using all this bullshit. So let's just go with our own. And there's a lot of reasons why I chose that name. I went just the same way with the Metellus. I went round and round with it. I tried a bunch of things, how they sound. There's a reason for the word streets. There's a reason for the word minerals to be in there instead of chemicals, like chemtrails. So there's changes in the wording. I had to get the word lie in there somewhere. So that's in there too. Minerealstreats. I misspelled streets purposely because I don't want it to be, even though I'll explain later with photographs and visuals about what the reason why I did everything that way. It'll still roll off the tongue when I'm talking about them and when we're discussing them. And then they also work in conjunction with other terminology that I'll be changing coming very soon. For example, the clouds and things like that. Okay, what the hell are you guys doing? Yeah, you look like you're not one of you behind me. So anyways, so that's what I'm doing. That's what I got going on. And I have a lot of research videos to go over. Patrick's doing an excellent job with the research videos. I'll get over to them soon, I promise. I just got to get things in my head done first, like just one or two more on the moon to discuss the imagery that Patrick already pointed out, because I want to do that since he's got a visual on these things. I'd like to hit his at least 2 or 3 of his research vids, including the one with the shells and the rocks and the sea glass and all that, because there is a lot of imagery in there we can pull out and use, so I can explain some things to him as we're going along. And so yeah, we'll get there. Also mentioned too that the next person I'm hitting on right now is Harold Kotz, K-A-U-T-Z, I believe is how you spell his last name. So Harold Kotz is on my list after Patrick's name. There's a good reason for that. She's got a great ass, that girl. None of these fucking parking spots are open up. I'll have to go park in a fucking snowbank. What I did, parked in the snowbank. So we're going for clouds today, so I'll go up there with it. Thinking about changing the filter. Let me take a look. Nah, certain days the fucking red ones, it's good to play around with the filters. Some days And I really should make some new filters soon and shit like that too. These filters are scratched up. Try yellow. I'll go with the yellow for now, I guess. Alright, I'll be right back. Get coffee. Yes, I mean, I got in a lot of arguments, debates this week. Haven't seen family and friends in a long time, and some of them came by the house. And as they did, each one of them was just one fucking argument and debate after another. I just consider it a waste of my fucking time. There's no waking anyone up, really. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I do the YouTube channel. Hope that someone someday comes along. I'm gonna run another ad because I had a good time doing that last time under the Tripping Sponge series. So when I have some money one day in the next month or so, then what I'll do is, especially if Patrick's doing as well as he's doing, then this series will definitely be up to 300-400 parts easy. I'm already at 50 and I'm only a couple weeks into it. I'm already at 50 parts in the series, so it's going to be easy to get up to 400 parts. And if I'm having a good time and I'm able to actually show things more, the only thing that maybe delayed me a little bit was the Metellus. Usually I don't usually get into these other things, anything else except for the EMNC. But last month when I was on the Tripping Sponge series, the Metellus, it was just coming to me. I couldn't deny it. You know what I mean? I couldn't deny that it was all coming together the way it is. Then right at the same time, of course, we're hit with a bunch of distractions, of course, as usual. in the fake system. The fake system distractions are all over the place. So we got hit with those about the same time. That's why I said to Patrick, don't worry about it if nobody's, catching on or whatever. No big deal. If they don't sub to the channel and stuff, that's probably why. Because everybody's on right now on the corona is a big thing that everybody's turned their attention to. All the wars and the death and the killing. Nice skirt. That's fucking nice. All this kind of shit's going on. So, a whole bunch of shit everywhere you go. But it was funny because when family and friends were over the house, of course they didn't want me using their names, and they don't even want me talking about them. Don't even use the word family when I'm doing my videos, right? What are you gonna do? Can't get anywhere in a conversation with anybody because they all believe in the fake system. So there's too many rabbit holes to go down. That's why I strongly feel that sticking with the EMNC, because it's undeniable. If anybody denies me of the EMNC, I can easily tell them to go fuck themselves. And the argument is over as far as I'm concerned. Because if I'm showing it to you and you're going to deny that you see it, then the argument's over. I don't need to argue with you anymore about anything. Not about your gravity, not about if Trump's a real character or a fucking Freemason or this or that, not about the Queen of England. I don't have to argue about, that was another argument, was the Metellus, because I started using my own terminology. I did not even explain to them as I was talking about it what it was, just to let people know this story too. Within 10 minutes, they all knew what I was talking about. I kept using the word Metellus as I was talking about it, and I said I'm looking for doing some experiments. I showed them some of the experiments I was doing. No one wanted to know about it. No one wanted to talk about it. They're all in complete fucking denial about everything. It's amazing to me. It really is amazing. They all want to talk fake system bullshit. But every time they tried to give any example, my usual personality is I don't let people get away with it. If you were having a conversation and you start telling me about something that happened that requires what you call gravity, the laws of gravity, then we're going to have a little discussion. I'm only going to step out of the conversation for a few seconds to point out that, no, don't say that. Don't say that. And then they have to come up with another terminology, so they try to use pressure. Pressure is the reason. Well, no. Actually, you're not going to be able to use that either. You don't know enough about it, so don't use that either. Oh, I'm just trying to tell a fucking story. No, you're not going to do that shit with me anymore, Hello? Give my phone number out on the internet, and then all I get is fucking scam calls all the time. So, what was I saying? But it's been that way anyways, for years with me. It's been that way with anybody. Don't bring me all your bullshit stories and then I'm supposed to believe them. And then I try to show you the actual facts behind it. And then instead of looking at what I'm showing you, you're still denying what's right in front of your face and then going to go with the conspiracy stories or the bullshit stories or the lies. Another one was I'll just talk about it because they're funny. I didn't get angry. I didn't get upset about nothing. They probably did a little bit. Because when one person is the cool, calm, and collective one, then the other one's always getting pissed. And I learned over the years, there's no sense in getting fucking pissed at these zombies. They're just zombies. Most of them don't really mean any harm, but they are being very harmful. Because if you're going to go along with the fake-ass system and pretend that it's any kind of facts backing any of it up, forget it, man. So they touched on to the religion also was touched on a little bit about how because they were trying to go back in history and they were telling me shit that they seen on the fucking History Channel. Are you fucking for real? After knowing me for the years that you've known me, and you're gonna tell me something that happened on a History Channel? Fuck out of here, man. So I listened to a couple minutes of it as they started rolling into it, and then I fucking shut them down quickly. And then they think that they're gonna come back with bullshit stories, and I'm gonna go along with them. No fucking way, man. So at some point I pointed out about the how did the word get out there? How did the lies all start and all this shit, the bullshit start? And I said, well, starting in print, because we were first, to make the story short, we started off talking about the computer technology. And I was pointing out, because they all got their heads buried in their fucking cell phones for most of their lives, not just while they were visiting other people, but all their lives. That's the way their lives are. So I was laughing at them and picking on them for that, because it was a self-defense, just to let you know. I wasn't being the bully until I got bullied. And then once I started hearing that, I was like, fuck you guys, man. You guys fucking live by those things. And then I explained quickly and nicely that, listen, they spent a couple hundred years taking away your intelligence from, in other words, your neurological system, and fucking it up in every different direction. Who is they? They is you. They is you that won't even go look at shit for yourselves, but yet you'll stand here and fucking tell me your bullshit stories that you saw in a movie, read in a fucking book, have no fucking evidence of, but yet you're gonna claim that it's real. So don't fucking bother with this shit, right? So then somehow we went from the cell phone shit, and I said, I brought up, well, okay, well, now that you got that cell phone, I gave the example that I usually like to give to everybody. I said, okay, Siri, when was this one born? What's this one's phone number, Siri? How old is this one? What's the date, Siri? So they all start laughing, and they start pulling out their cell phones, showing off all their apps. This app, that app, this app, that app. And it's not just Siri. They all had all different names for their phones. I don't know how the fuck it works, because I don't really pay that much attention to it. What was one of the other ones? I don't remember. Jessica, this and that, and Siri, this and that. And they start asking their phones, and they're all talking to their phones, and the phone's giving them information that they think is fucking legitimate, that it's worth something. It's not. It's all fucking lies. It's all bullshit, man. So during that conversation, I started taking it back in time. I said, they've been doing that right from the get-go. I said, so I followed it back through television, and I said they did the same thing when I was a kid with the TV, and then someone else brought up video games, and yep, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up back at newspapers, and I said that's why the newspapers were free when they first gave them, you know, just like YouTube is supposedly free, but it's not really free. There's advertisers that pay for YouTube, and then what is going to eventually happen is even the content holders will eventually have to pay as well, just like with the newspapers. That's what the way they did it. They handed out the newspapers for free when the newspapers first came out, and that's how they brainwashed the people. And then once the people were addicted to the newspapers, and then someone spoke up and said, no, hey, I started out with the newspapers, and they're yelling it out like they're telling the whole fucking family, the whole audience, right? And they're telling the whole audience how it was 2 cents each. 2 cents each when the newspaper first came out. Michael's wrong. It was 2 cents each, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're fucking dreaming. Go fucking do your fucking bullshit story research. The newspapers were handed out for free. Come and get it, come and get it. Yes, of course, at some time, they did eventually start charging 1 bit, 2 bits, whatever the fuck it was, yeah. But when they first started making newspapers, they were free. Just like when they first started making Bibles, they were free. Just like any fucking book that you want to get the fucking propaganda bullshit stories out there, you give it away. And then as people read it and they get addicted to it, then yeah. Then you can, once they know your lies and believe your lies, fine. Then you can start charging. That's the way they always do it. Already. So anyways, then we got into talking, somebody brought the conversation down the road of religions, and said, you know, that's what, you know, whoever is the winner is the one that, the winner of the war writes the books and bullshit stories like this and stuff like that. Nah, bullshit. Fucking war's been going on the whole fucking time. And we lost it a long time ago. And then they also have this other issue where they believe that, who's getting pulled over there? Oh, a lot of people. What the fuck is going on? What was I thinking? I get distracted when I'm driving, trying to watch the road. Anyway, so, but that's not true either. I'll win the war my ass. So right from the get-go, as soon as this veil was built, as soon as this system was put into play, this all started. It all started at once. We all have these false beliefs that are not provable. They don't seem factual at all. They don't go along with anything that I'm now seeing in the last little over a year now. In other words, science, the religion of science and scientism. Those are just religions. They're all bullshit. They can't, they're not going to be able to ever prove to me for sure that anything ever evolved, that there was ever any evolution. That's why I don't even like using the word evolved when I'm talking about the neurological system. It's not, I was always looking for the mirror neuron manipulator as having evolved in the humans. It wasn't evolved. It was not evolved. It's all electromagnetics, man. It's all electromagnetics. And what they can turn off and on any fucking cells that they want. They can open and close different memory capsules, and they can do all kinds of shit simply by using electromagnetics. They can turn off and on the biosystem. Now that I'm learning about the Metellus, and that's why I say they end up coming hand in hand with these two. The Metellus and the EMNC are going to be so fucking closely related. It's unbelievable. That's why when someone, our new friend Denny's been around for a while under the Crystal Blue Persuasion title, but then he's been coming in talking here and there a little bit every once in a while. But he made a couple mentions about checking out some of the other channels, and I don't mean to be a dick about it. I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but you must hear me saying all the time if you watch my videos, fuck them motherfuckers, mama. Fuck them motherfuckers, mama. I don't trust